What's up, guys? Trail here, better known as Budget Bill, and this is your third stimulus check update and stimulus package update for Sunday, February the 28th. Good morning, everyone, and happy Sunday morning. It's a beautiful day here in Texas after those winter storms that we recently received. I try to encourage people all the time to move to Texas, especially those living in California. It's the only state that can go from 0 to 80 degrees in less than 24 hours. But we are not here to talk about that today. We are here to talk about the breaking stimulus news about the stimulus bill being passed by the House. I realize I may be a day late or so on this information, but we still need to go over it briefly as there are some important details to know about this stimulus bill. We also want to address the new information regarding the minimum wage increase that was a shock to me, so I know it was a shock to you guys. And the most important question of them all: when will the American people receive the $1,400 stimulus payments? So let's go ahead and talk about it today. But before we get started, if this is your first time to the channel, hey, welcome and glad to have you. On this channel, we talk about finance, real estate, credit cards, and stimulus update news. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can be a part of this community. And hit the like button for me if you like this type of content. It doesn't cost you a single dime for me to bring this information to you. And all I ask is for a simple press up the like button, as it really helps out the channel. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. What's up, guys? And y'all have to excuse my upbeat excitement, but I'm just really excited that this stimulus thing is going much faster than we have seen with the second stimulus checks. I'm just glad we didn't have to wait another 8 months to get something done. The $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan was passed by the House early Saturday morning. Did y'all know the House was actually working late Friday night and passed this bill a little bit after 2 a.m. in the morning? I mean, this should make us feel proud that Congress was willing to stay at work until they passed this bill for the American people, especially in comparison to what we have seen in the past. The bill passed with a 219 to 212 approval, where all but 2 Democrats voted in favor of this bill and not one single Republican. But hey, we already expected this to happen, right? Republicans have concerns about the amount of spending in this bill. They have been very vocal about it already. Republicans and a few Democrats are not in favor of the $15 minimum wage increase as well. Initially, I reported to you earlier this week that the Democrats decided that the minimum wage hike was not going to stay in this bill. Well, surprisingly, they decided to vote on the bill with the $15 increase still in the bill, and they were still able to pass it. Well, that's all fine and dandy now, but the real question is, will this bill survive in the Senate with the minimum wage included? I don't think it will, guys. This is going to be the biggest roadblock in getting this bill passed through, even with using the budget reconciliation. People like Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema are 2 Democrats that are not in support of the $15 minimum wage increase, and they have stated that they would not support this bill with it included, which is why they are removing it from the bill to guarantee that they would receive their votes. And sure enough, that they are the only 2 Democrats that voted against this bill. So now the bill is headed to the Senate with an attempt to get support of this bill and enough votes to pass this bill over to the president. But the likelihood of that happening is very slim. Right now, it is expected to fail in the Senate, in which they will have to remove it overall, which is weird because the Senate has already stated that the $15 increase cannot be included in this bill. The parliamentarian ruled that the provision to have this included was not compliant with the rules governing the budget process that Congress is using. So the Democrats already knew that it wasn't possible to keep this in the bill, and they still voted on it anyways. So we can expect to see that being removed here soon. But on the other hand, Republicans are supporting the idea of passing a lower minimum wage of like $10 per hour. Having this support definitely helps progressives who want to get minimum wage workers above the poverty line. Now that the ball is with the Senate, how long will it take them to vote on this bill? Even after they remove the minimum wage issue, Perhaps they will be voting on it as early as this week. This helps move the ball forward, but obviously just not fast enough. The Americans were hoping for this stimulus checks during the first week of March, but the timeline doesn't show that as an option right now, considering March is tomorrow. And on Saturday morning, Biden thanked the House while urging the Senate to move quickly to pass this bill and to send it to his desk for him to sign it. Biden said,
"And with their vote, we're one step closer to vaccinating the nation. We are one step closer to putting $1,400 in the pockets of Americans. We're one step closer to extending unemployment benefits for millions of Americans who are shortly going to lose them. Now the bill moves to the United States Senate, where I hope it will receive quick action. We have no time to waste. If we act now, decisively, quickly, and boldly, we can finally get ahead of this virus. We can finally get our economy moving again. And the people of this country have suffered far too much for too long. We need to relieve that suffering."
And the American Rescue Plan does just that. Now, what does this package include, by the way?
While the package spends hundreds of billions on vaccines, schools, food programs, housing assistance, and state and local governments, there is also more personal aid.
Second, our plan gives $1,400 to those who need it most, and at least $3,000 in tax credits for almost every child.
So there you go. We have the $1,400 stimulus checks for each individual as well as for each child and dependent, no matter what age. Those stimulus payments also go to people on Social Security, such as SSI, SSDI, VA beneficiaries, and for those that are incarcerated right now, and for those that owe back child support, you will get one as well. But for real, how long before we receive these stimulus payments? Well, we hope the Senate will vote this week, make any necessary changes such as removing the minimum wage, and hopefully the bill can be sent to the president sometime next week, which that would be the greatest scenario, which this would help with the timeline for renewing some expired benefits that are set to expire on March the 14th. Now, the Biden administration and the Democrats stated that they expect this bill to be signed into legislation before the current benefits expire. Although the House Democrats believe the minimum wage hike is necessary, Nancy Pelosi stated that they will pass this bill in Congress with or without the minimum wage increase. So that means the Democrats are not going to allow the minimum wage issue to prevent this bill from becoming law in a few weeks. They really want this, but not willing to fail the American people because of it. Democrats know that they still have a chance later to pass another bill specifically for the minimum wage increase, especially knowing that Republicans would support a $10 wage increase. Everything else in this bill has overwhelmingly support among Democratic lawmakers as well as some Republicans. So overall, this progress is looking pretty good so far. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. So even if this bill doesn't get to Biden's desk at the last minute and Biden signs this bill on March the 14th, that will prevent the lapse in unemployment benefits that would expire. Then millions of Americans will start to receive their stimulus checks within 48 hours of President Biden signing this bill. Then others would receive their stimulus payments throughout the rest of March into April. And this would be our third stimulus check. And I think there might be plans of a fourth stimulus check coming in the near future, but no concrete evidence on that happening just yet. Now, this stimulus bill also includes a $3,000 tax credit for children under the age of 18 years old and a $3,600 tax credit for children under 6, which these would be distributed on a monthly basis starting sometime in July. The bill also calls for an increase in unemployment benefits by $100, which would increase the current amount of $300 per week to $400 per week. Then $350 billion for state and local governments, $130 billion for schools, and $40 billion for colleges and universities, as well as $75 billion for virus testing and vaccine rollout. Then regarding small businesses, they have included an additional $15 billion for EIDL or Economic Injury Disaster Loan payments, and $25 billion for restaurants, bars, and other food and drink places. And there is also more funding for the PPP or Paycheck Protection Program that is really popular for small business owners who have been suffering through all this pandemic. And of course, the one thing we still don't see in this bill is the $200 monthly increase for Social Security benefits. That is something that most people feel like Biden let everyone down, as he has not mentioned anything related to the increase. As we know, those on Social Security benefits are the most vulnerable right now during the pandemic and could really use this additional funds to help with the increase in goods and services. And we also don't see anything about the student loan forgiveness in this bill. So for those two right there, we have to hope that they will create their own separate bill here in the near future. I think the perfect scenario would be a separate bill later next month, like in April. That would include a minimum wage increase, perhaps the heroes pay that we still haven't seen yet, and then the Social Security boost of $200 per month, and then go ahead and throw in the $10,000 in student loan forgiveness. That would be the perfect scenario, if you ask me, of course. But I'm not Congress. I'm just a random guy on YouTube giving my opinion on what Congress should be doing, as well as continuing to remind you to hit the like button for me. Other than that, guys, hey, that's all I have for you today. This has been your third stimulus check update news for today. If you enjoyed any of this information or found it to be useful, or you actually like some of my jokes, be sure to hit the like button for me. It definitely helps out a lot, and it tells YouTube to share this video with others. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button for me so that you can be a part of this community, and hit the notification bell to be notified of each new video. Again, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.